My thesis focuses on the work of translator during some of the cruelest dictatorships of our times. Through this work, I want to bring to light some of the main dynamics used at the time of translating. Therefore, I'm going to start from the translation theory and then I'm going to continue showing you a practical analysis on the translator's work in dictatorship. Our journey starts in 1985 with the development of the so-called manipulation thesis, according to which the translation was seen as a primary literary genre at the disposal of social and political organizations, with the aim of manipulating a certain society. This particular theory gave rise to another one, developed by the Belgian linguist Lefebvre, who thought that any translation can contribute to creating distorted images and thus be a powerful tool in the service of the government. In order to prove this thesis, I would then proceed with the presentation of my analysis, which will be carried out through the description of the historical, literary and socio-political framework, combined with some examples which can show the effects of the totalitarian ideology in the international literary scene. I'm going to start with the fascism of Mussolini. Characterized by a conservative ideology, the party started ascent to power in 1925, when it became the single party in Italy. Regardless of Mussolini's conservative orientation, due to an economic crisis during the early years of dictatorship, the translated sector was not affected by any coercive measure. On the contrary, in an environment of cooperation, it turned out to be the first country in the world for the number of published translations. Everything started to change in the aftermath of the colonial wars, when the government started to increase the number and the strictness of the restrictions, leading to the development of a self-censoring system. Abortion, suicide, communism, women emancipation, and episodes that discredit Italy were among the main themes that had been censored during the fascist regime. One of the most significant examples of self-censorship is the thriller masterpiece Murder on the Orient Express, written by Agatha Christie. For example, the translator of the novel Pitta, while translating the book, decided to eliminate a conversation between Poirot and Monsieur Bouc, in which the latter openly expresses his dislike of Italians. Furthermore, in order to avoid any association between Italy and the mafia, he decided to change the nationality of two Italian characters. I'm referring to Cassetti, the victim of the crime, and Foscarelli, whose surnames are changed in O'Hara and Pereira. It follows the Nazi dictatorship, which took hold in Germany in 1934. Hitler, like Mussolini, imposed on the literary sector a series of restrictions that encouraged many translators to practice a form of self-censorship. In Germany, among the main manipulated topics, there was the love relationship between men and women, in which the woman was usually described as a strong and brave character, and the man as a more fragile and vulnerable one. Indeed, in Mystery in Kensington Gore, written by Martin Porlock, the translator eliminated any reference related to the strength of the female protagonist. Furthermore, through the implementation of the appropriate changes, he managed to make the heroine of the novel less an agent herself, and more a foil for the heroic narrator. Let's finish with the Francoist dictatorship, which was established in Spain on the 1st of April 1939, in the aftermath of the Spanish Civil War, and which led to a proper cultural and intellectual transformation. As happened in Germany and in Italy, the several restrictions imposed by the government in the matters of translation led the Spanish translators to practice the self-censorship. Any attack on morality, on church or on the regime, any political opinion contrary to the regime, and too explicit references to sex were the main themes censored by Franco's government. Among the corpus of the censored novels, Huxley's Point Counterpoint and Orwell's 1984 were the two that mostly drew my attention. 1984 because, while reading the manipulated version, it becomes clear that the novel had been modified not only with the aim of suiting the censoring rules of the times, but specifically in order to transform the conveyed message and, consequently, create a new political discourse more similar to the Francoist ideology. Point counterpoint instead for two changes carried out by the translator. I'm referring to the elimination of the passage which deals with the eternal battle between science and religion, and the manipulation of the passages where the author accuses Jesus of being the killer of humanity and criticizes the Church and the Catholic dogma. Therefore, in conclusion, we can state that during any dictatorship, translators were subjected to a strict control and to an excessive pressure that prevented them from translating freely and faithfully, keeping a lot of citizens away from enjoying one of the fundamental human rights, the freedom of information.